Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Chip Chasing. Sorry we're running a few minutes late here. We got Pat Crane. We got Pat in the LaVisca shirt. How we doing, fellas?
Doing good. I had a Spectrum technician visit my apartment, and hopefully my internet is now above the David Kitchen level. I'm starting to get a little worried.
I was just going to say, could you send him to Kitchen's house once he's done with yours?
I even got a cell number in case it popped back up again. I needed a quick repair.
So Cat Crane's a thing of the past is what you're telling us.
That's right. Except until an hour when I have to pull up my phone.
Yeah. Pat's like, I've been discussing top shot values over text with my Spectrum technician. Like, we're pretty close now.
I also started working out this week, perhaps related to the Cat Crane double chin picture. I don't know. Sorry to say. But I had a lot more motivation this week than I had last week. I'll tell you that.
You delivered that like you were opening up a stand-up bit. You're like, so I started working out for the first time this week.
Anyone work out? You guys know?
Yeah. Let me tell you, the people don't like it when you're talking top shot on the ellipticals. Hey-yo! Let's see. Looking sharp, Pat. Those plants have never looked finer. Yeah, you kind of got the fisheye camera going again, too.
Yeah, I actually am logged in under Pete's account right now because, as we'll talk about, Pete won't be here next week. So I needed to make sure that, I was set up to drive the show next week. As I logged into Pete's and came back in, the camera got even more fisheyed. So there's something.
I'm convinced your house is just crooked at this point. Like you live in a Dr. Seuss house. That's the only way I remember it.
If he had some sort of additional fisheye setting on my camera under his account, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I actually have the controls to everything on your computer here, and I normally kind of style you and whatever I think is best for the show. Phil B, impromptu best ball draft tonight? Probably not. But
next week there may be some best ball drafts.
Oh yeah, what? Yeah. So why don't we? What do you got cooking? I'm not going to be here next week.
I'm not going to be here either.
Oh yeah, we're both gone.
Next week we have on tap a Establish the Edge ship chasing crossover pod. So me and Mike Leone are going to be coming on doing this. It'll be the episode for both of our pods, and we're going to do a live best ball draft.
Look at that. The only reason you guys are both excited, or you're excited about this, because then it means you don't have to do two pods. You guys have been slacking on Establish the Edge.
Hey man, every other week. We did one with Justin last week.
Every other week? God, if I did a podcast every other week, I think I would die. It's my life source. I can't imagine going that long without getting on a show, Pat.
Well, I wanted to talk to you about this because I'm calling this Overset Winner.
Overset Winner.
We as a community have had like 4 Pete Overset shows in our lives for a full year now. And now it's going to be like 10 days without a single Pete Overset stream at the height of it. Like you've actually peaked. You're doing like Club Top Shot every night. You've got like celebrities swinging through, like just,
Can we talk about how cool Chris Conley is? That was the coolest.
Chris Conley's awesome.
I have dogged on Chris Conley for fantasy pretty much his entire career. I take it all back. Love the guy. Drafting him in the fifth round this year. That dude is awesome. I just want to root for him.
Well, what you just said, everyone in the fantasy and DFS communities have a connotation when they hear him. They're like this, inefficient, the drops and all this. And now my association, when I hear the words Chris Conley, will forever be completely changed.
Yep.
I mean,
just watching it. Yeah,
dude, that's why I'm wearing the Viscous shirt because you played to Chris Conley, the Visca highlight reel. I mean, that was a highlight of the year. That was amazing.
Well, did you see? You knew, like, it was one of those things where I was like, I can either go through the awkwardness of explaining this and playing it for him, or I can have the chat just absolutely revolt. And I was like, I got to play the clip. I had to.
It's a great highlight reel. I feel like
you handled it well. I think at the end he was like, "Where's the Chris Conley highlight reel?"
Yeah. No, the chat. Once the Visca dropped it, play the reel. And the way StreamYard works is like your video assets aren't just all lumped in together. It's based by how you like have it out by brand. So I don't know. You probably caught that. I had to tab over to the ship chasing brand.
Yeah.
So the background.
Of course I caught it.
Yeah.
Of course I caught it. I was like, yeah.
Although I will
Do you
say,
think I just missed that?
No, of course you do. Yeah. So, yeah, if you're watching this and you didn't catch that last night, I think you'd legitimately enjoy hearing Chris Conley talk about all kinds of stuff. Just a very, very fun interview.
Yeah, I would actually say, like, if you haven't watched it, and the reason you haven't watched it is because you're just not into Top Shot, like, it's actually your least Top Shot focused episode of Club Top Shot.
I have not been watching
orders of
any
magnitude.
Top Shot. Yeah, I haven't watched any Top Shot content really at all, but I watched that, and I mean, it was fun, the parts that you guys talked about, NFTs or whatever, but also a lot of it had nothing to do with Top Shot. It was just a football conversation. It was great.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
And I am just like, today I tuned in for a little bit of his Twitch stream. And it just, I mean, we toss around the words criminally underfollowed, but I mean, this guy's criminally underfollowed. Like, he's a superstar. Like, he should have like be streaming to, 20,000 people like at once. Like, I mean, the guy is just an
I followed him.
absolute
What I didn't see his follower count. Where's he at?
Well, before going into the show last night, he had 1,400 Twitter followers. I mean, it's just absurd. Yeah.
That's absurd.
He's a professional athlete.
Yeah.
What are people doing?
I know. It is, yeah. And he literally can do whatever he wants when he's done playing football. If he wants to go into filmmaking, broadcasting, writing, I mean, that
was a Top Shot whale now, so.
Yeah. Although I saw I haven't put him on blast for it. Do you see he already has Andy's BAM that he was gifted already in the marketplace?
Oh, no. He's already selling it?
No
he's going the Josh Hart route. Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
Oh,
that's
my
funny.
God. So yes. But yeah, I am a little worried about Overzet Winter because I can't. Oh no, this is our other Chris Conley. He's been making hay out of this. I feel like I can't win because either a lot's happening and I'm just like FOMOing big time of like I want to be in the mix, or it's crickets and no one misses me. So it just like I can't win either way.
With what?
I think it might be crickets because you host all of the shows.
No,
none of the shows can run.
No, you're doing a show. I think Brian and Spags might sync up for a show. I want Silva to replace me on the Swolecast. I need all these shows to keep going.
That would actually be really fun to have a Silva throwback on the Swolecast.
He should. I wonder if he would do it. Kitchen, are you gonna get crickets from the co-host Pat's side? I don't know if Silva would do it. Who knows? Yeah.
When you guys did the Swolecast, by the way, did you realize that Kitchen was like broadcasting it from the very beginning? Like he was up there in the corner? Because the way you were talking, you didn't.
He was there?
He was there like the whole time. You're like, I can see Kitchen like down our Discord. And it's like, yeah, no shit. He's on the show. He was on the show the whole time.
I don't have we have two things up. We have our Zoom call, and then in Kitchen it said like, hey, I got to get this stuff figured out. And so then I assumed he was off. And then we have the screen share. So Devin was showing us the stuff for NFT or not. But I didn't realize that Kitchen was on the live production.
Yeah, I watched it after the fact. Maybe it was like I don't know, but the video on YouTube, he's on there the whole time.
I would also approve of this, Denny, on the Swolecast. Just do an hour expose on conquering Meat Mountain. I think would be great content.
That would be great content. Congrats to Eric, by the way, for his part in that.
Kitchen, I knew you heard everything. You were in the waiting room. I just didn't know that you were on the public screen too, lurking. I also love this comment from Lou because it implies that like people have. Oh, he said Wood refused to talk Top Shots. I thought he said Silva refuses to talk Top Shots. Like people are trying to talk to him about it on Twitter and he just immediately shuts it down, which would also be very funny. What are we going to talk about tonight, guys?
Well, I figured we'd talk a little bit about the Omni Drafts, but related to that, one of the things that I thought was fun about the Omni Drafts is when you're filling out your flexes, right? And so, for anyone who's not familiar, right, with these Omni Drafts, you're drafting a bunch of different sports and you have flex spots. So you can pick like NFL teams to fill out your flex spots, which I like doing, because with those flex spots, you're usually the later round picks, so you want more variance. You want a sport with higher variance. The NFL is a pretty high variance sport, and it's like the only sport that I actually know anything about. So I want to kind of wade into those waters. But as I'm trying to figure out teams that I think are interesting flex picks, it got my wheels turning on the NFL futures and some of these long shot teams to win the Super Bowl, and I think that's kind of fun to talk about. So I don't know, what you guys had in mind to talk about, but I think that might be an interesting place to start.
Yeah, Ben, what has been how many do you have internal data? How many Omni drafts have completed or are ongoing in total right now?
I don't have it compiled in a good way. The way that we have it right now is I can see all the leagues from 2020 and 2021 together. There are hundreds.
Wow.
So there's a lot of leagues.
That's cool.
Maybe 200 total. So I don't know. I think there's fewer this year. There were a lot of the leagues last year where people trying to figure out the site and abandoning some leagues. So I don't think it's like 200 active ones, but there's certainly dozens and dozens of people. I've gotten people reach out to me that followers that I'd never chatted with, and they got friends together. Just was talking to one today that they did 2 different ones. Same group of people did 2 different ones. So yeah, I mean, it's certainly been, and like our user, like people that have signed up, our user base is pretty large now too. I mean, I don't know, large relatively. It's not like we expected.
Are you guys going to be able to get ADP data eventually?
We've talked about it. The issue is getting consistency across league types, because a lot of the ones that are being created, and I've mentioned this in some of my write-ups, people don't like to do a lot of the other sports. So some of the ones that are being created are only like maybe core 6, core 7 sports.
I see.
I've seen a lot of leagues that are only like 8 people, and they're only doing like 8 sports as well, which I think works. But comparing that to a 12 sport league
is so
really
different.
And also the amount of teams participating in the draft, because if there's only a few teams, or if there's 8 teams, the WNBA getting 2 WNBA teams to flex is a pretty big advantage. But if there's 12 teams, it's easier to punt the WNBA.
I guess you'd maybe just run it on what's the most common setting, the 12-man, 18-round kind of thing.
Kevin and I were talking about that. We might do the 3 ship chasing drafts plus like a couple of the other ones we've done that are that I've been in that are very similar setting. The problem is I can't really easily figure out the size of the league without clicking on all these leagues. There's hundreds of leagues that I have in the database. So I do know that we have 3 ship chasing leagues that are all the sports, 12 teams. We have the RotoViz one, which is 11, I believe.
That's 11.
All the sports, but 11. And then I have a CBS one that's all the sports. So it's an old CBS crew. It's 10 teams. So like we can get like 5-7 leagues like that are at least 10 to 12 teams, all the sports, and probably pull something together. We were talking about it last week, but it's also ending draft. Like we're reaching the end of draft time. If you want to do one of these leagues, you should get the draft in the next week, because next Tuesday we'll start getting finalized round of 16 Champions League. That's when the second legs start next Tuesday for the Champions League. And then the Players Championship for golf is right behind that. And then we also get the March Madness tournament is, a week behind that. So a lot of stuff is going to start happening in March. March Madness will be done by about a month from maybe 3 days from now. I think it's April 6th is the national championship for college basketball. So
wow.
Yeah, these drafts got to get finished up now at this point.
Yeah, I'm actually on the clock right now in our RotoViz one. I am about to pull the trigger at 16:04. You guys want to see how the sausage gets made? I'll share my screen.
I will say the site is really easy to use. Like I had a spreadsheet that I was drafting out of to start, and it definitely helped me get my thoughts together on like the relative values of all these sports. But I haven't made a pick off that spreadsheet in a couple of weeks, because I just go to the site. I go to sports. I go through. I just look what's available. and then the site won't let you pick a sport that you can't, like, if you're not eligible to pick that sport anymore, it won't let you pick it.
Right.
And so, yeah, just kind of try to keep in mind some of that stuff about like going higher variance as the draft goes on, and also just picking things I want to root for, like, you know, making sure I grab teams at the end. If you're not at the end, you got to grab teams you want to root for, you know. So
one of the things
from the site.
One of the things we talked about last week, and it's remained true, is there's a high correlation between things happening on the Top Shot world and the speed of Omni Drafts. A negative correlation. So Omni has been exciting these last few weeks, but Top Shot has obviously been way more exciting. And
there was a period where our Omni Draft was flying, and I believe the marketplace was down that day.
Right. That's what happens. I've noticed it completely.
I feel like I've been pretty good.
I'm in 4 drafts, and every time there's a drop or something, every draft stopped. Every draft stops at the same time for hours.
Yeah. I think I've been pretty good. I had one time where I had to get the second nudge reminder, but I've been trying to do my part.
Oh, I don't think. Yeah, I mean, it's not calling out anyone individually. I think
no, we should. I think it's fun.
Crew. Well, everybody in anyone.
Wait, you calling out me? What's going on here?
Anyone who would be degen enough to do a draft where you have to take a team from every single sport and all this stuff would also be degen enough to be in the Top Shot market. There's a very high. I'm like the only one that's not in the Venn diagram. Like, I'm outside here.
I still can't get over the first show we did post Top Shot when Pat had gotten into it and you said Top Shot brain. And you just called us out because Pat and I were like zombies trying to talk about football.
It was insane. We did the draft together the week before that. And then
I was barely into it then.
Yeah.
That was just the iceberg.
It was like a year had passed since we did the draft. You guys were talking about stuff like it was so far beyond.
It literally felt like that when a teacher calls on you in class to, like, you know, tell like what you thought of the chapter that you read, and you're just trying to bullshit to the max, and that's like, I'm not having it. All right, should I take?
Let's see your team. What do you have right now? You're getting to the end of the draft. Go to the big board. I think I've covered all my teams. Or my
show Joshua here. He has a question. This part that he's on right now answers Joshua's question. But also here's another one that I didn't write about. Click back on draft. You guys are gonna like this. I should have talked about this more. You got to scroll all the way to the top because the way it scrolls down. Click that draft breakdown.
This was the link I was looking at the other day.
Yeah, there you go.
There's your.
You gotta put that in the header.
I know. I got to do a better job with that.
Where was that? I missed where that was.
It's on the draft page
right here.
Because it's only
no kidding. Okay.
Functional for the draft. After that, once the season runs, you don't even really ever need to see this. It's just part of, you know, a draft feature. Sorry, burp.
Yes, I should have been looking at this more, but in this particular draft, I have covered all of my sports, so I can pick anything I want. I'm debating between adding another college basketball team, the Texas Longhorns for March Madness, or adding another NASCAR driver, either Kurt Busch or Eric Almirola. Thoughts?
I mean, in my write-ups, I called both of those ones that you shouldn't flex late. So maybe you should read the material, Pete.
I thought you did say you didn't mind flexing NASCAR.
NASCAR early. It seems like a lot of the top drivers do well. So if you can flex a couple of them early, and in some of these leagues, people don't want to take NASCAR drivers, it's a good early flex. Maybe
NASCAR's tight end, right?
4 or 5. Yeah, it's tight end. That's exactly right. Except for the late guys are pointless. So NASCAR would be a total no-go. NCAA, I could see, but it's just there's a lot of teams that can hit, you know?
Yeah.
It's definitely more high variance, though. You could hit on that.
You can get like 2 seeds still at the end of the draft. Like it's...
What's your thought about NFL? Because I did think the Dolphins and Steelers both kind of piqued my interest a little bit.
Well, yeah, this is what I want to talk about because it's kind
of
Dolphins
and Steelers. Interesting. Those are two that I'm not. I mean, I like the Dolphins.
Is there still a chance they can get Deshaun Watson?
I mean, I think if you're taking the Dolphins, you're kind of just hoping that Tua is improved in year 2 the way that a lot of QBs that we kind of wrote off after year 1 improved in year 2. I mean, are we really convinced that he's terrible? I'm not.
I'm not. I'm so sick of everyone acting like he's trash.
I'm not convinced he's terrible. I don't know if he's a Super Bowl quarterback in year 2, though.
Yeah, but there are a lot of teams in the rookie. Man, switching beers is woof. There's a lot of teams.
Ben has Stella brain right now. I can tell.
Rookie QB contract window that, like, Jared Goff took a team to the Super Bowl in the rookie QB, right? Because you can do so much more around that. And Miami's done well to stockpile picks. They've saved cap space. I'm pretty sure they're up there among the top teams in the league in available cap space this offseason. That's what we saw from the Bills with Josh Allen. That's what we saw from the Ravens with Lamar Jackson. We've seen this repeatedly. The Browns came up a little bit. It's such an advantage to have a quarterback on a cost-controlled rookie contract. It is a massive advantage for team.
Willis brings this up. Jack Miller, who once actually turned down an opportunity to go on the Swolecast because he had to go to a picnic. He has 4 NCAA basketball teams. Like, what is he doing, Gretch?
I don't know. I got a buddy that does this too, though. And one year he hit South Carolina late. I think they made a run to the Final Four, and he had the winner the same year. It can work out. I mean, the NCAA tournament's wild. You can definitely have these hits pay off.
I kind of like this move. He didn't take his first picks Iowa, so he didn't spend up, I would imagine, for Iowa, right?
No,
he's just kind of doing a spray and pray with his flexes. And as Ben talked about, like, what you need to hit, like, probably 4 winners to win this thing.
Yes, 3 to 4 winners will definitely put you in contention, depending on the league size, obviously. But 12 team, if you hit 4 winners, you're going to probably win it.
So if you take 4 shots outside of your top, like, 8 picks or whatever on the NCAA, which is a notoriously high variance sport, and you end up hitting the winner, like, let's say all the other teams don't do anything, they don't get any points for you, but you.
So the question is, what if you don't hit the winner? What if it is one of the favorites?
Then you've pretty much lost the entire thing, no matter what.
Right? Like you put so many eggs in this basket. That's why I don't like it, because you have put so many eggs in this basket that if it isn't a highly volatile tournament this year, if some of the top seeds make it and your late picks don't work, or if you just don't have the right picks, if you don't hit the winner with those 4 picks, like, he's put a lot of eggs in the college basketball basket. He needs to get points there. It's all of his flexes.
I think Jack, fancies himself as this precocious young college student deep in the analytics. And yet, he was late making a pick on Valentine's Day because he was doing stuff with his girlfriend. I think this whole love business, partying business, I think it's got the best of him. I think he's just clicking buttons now. And I don't think he's a thought leader anymore, is what I'm trying to say.
I didn't know this was the roast of Jack Miller. Is Jack coming on? What's going on?
Ever since Jack turned down an opportunity to come on the Swolecast, he's been in our crosshairs.
Kitchen was irate about, not irate. He was
rightfully so. I mean,
I think I took his place on that one. I was involved in these conversations. I think I was on the Swolecast that time, and Kitchen was like, "What a mistake!"
Yeah, it was just a catastrophic mistake. This guy, I still can't believe it. Michael asks, "What golfers are left?" I'm open to a golfer here. Patrick Reed, Tommy Fleetwood, Tony Finau. Anything there?
Yeah, I think Finau's kind of sweet. I like him. I like Fleetwood too. Those are all decent options. But go back to what you have on your draft breakdown. I'll give you my actual thoughts on this, because there's a few sports that I think are good ones to flex, regardless.
Okay. Well,
you have MLS is a good one. It's high variance, and the odds don't seem to predict much of anything. So it's good to take 2 bullets. You have 2 tennis players. I also really like hockey, and I like Major League Baseball as ones where you can get teams fairly consistently, get teams from the 10th to 15th drafted in Omnifantasy that wind up in the finals, either the World Series or the Stanley Cup finals. So those are 2 that I like to flex in most every draft. So I would look at what's available in those ones.
So you don't tend to flex the NFL as much?
It's more of a borderline one for me because it's so far off and it is kind of tough. We don't know free agency and everything, but I've tended to flex it as well. MLS, MLB, NHL, NFL, and something else.
This is
NCAA basketball,
maybe, or NASCAR early, or maybe I'll do something early.
This is pretty picked over though.
Yeah, there's a lot of hockey teams that have gone. I took 2 already, probably. What about baseball? There's only been 13. So total there, the column there's only been 13. There's been 18 NHL teams. Yeah, I mean, you could take the national. I don't know. I don't know who's on these teams well enough.
You went from saying with like supreme confidence. No, I'll tell you exactly what you should do. Be like, yeah, fuck if I know, man.
Cleveland Indians. That's a. Well, the White Sox are good now, right? That's a weaker division.
I know, man. You were talking about Pat or Jack still having a spreadsheet, Pat abandoning his spreadsheet. I ain't never had no spreadsheet to begin with.
Finau will get you some top 5 finishes, nothing more. The thing is, it's an aggregate. It's an aggregate thing. So if he gets multiple top 5 finishes, he's probably going to get you points. He's going to finish in the top 8 overall across these tournaments. I took him in one draft, Finau. I think PGA is one that you can also flex. I think college basketball is one you can flex, sort of similar to PGA.
Well, I mean, now that Jack has cornered the market,
right.
It seemed like people like Reed. I'll take Patrick Reed. I don't give a fuck. I'll add him to the squad.
So you're not taking Miami?
No, I got talked out of it because Tua sucks. And
no one actually said that.
Who talked you out of it?
No one talked him out of it. He talked himself out of it with the mainstream narrative that no one backed up.
I'm kind of stoked on them, actually.
Yes, me too. Into it. I love them.
Ben gave his whole thing of the rookie contract.
You know what I should do? What if I took
Miami or you're a fraud?
What if I took the Jags as a show of solidarity to them, hopefully re-signing Chris Conley?
Wow.
No, I'm taking Patrick.
Take Miami, dude. Come on.
Fine, I'll take Miami. I got bullied into it. I'll do it for the bid equity.
I think it's a good pick, man.
Honestly, hey, you gotta pick teams you want to root for, man. You don't care about Patrick. What's his name?
Look at Dubner, man, taking a 3.6, and I just come over the top. Well, bam! Same sport, 7.7 expected points. Eat that, RotoViz nerd.
I mean, the other rookie contracts have already gone there in that draft as well. The Chargers, the Cardinals. So I took the Cardinals in a draft, but I was not stoked because Cliff.
No, it's hard. It's hard to bet on those guys to make a playoff run. I mean, Cliff is so out of his depth.
Yeah,
but Herbert, the Chargers is the fun one. Pat.
Yeah,
we both like that one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Chargers is by far the most fun bet. And that's they're plus 3,000 on DraftKings, which that's pretty fun.
That's pretty fun. They got to be fun. They got to be good. Everyone's worried about Mahomes' division, but come on, the Broncos, the Raiders, they can still make the playoffs despite Mahomes in the division.
Yeah, and their coaching could be quite a bit better.
That's the hope, of course. Yeah,
and their head coach now, a defensive guy, maybe the defense. There's some talent on that side of the ball too. So
definitely, they
could be a really, really fun team.
Do you both have the hiccups right now?
I don't.
I guess so. The other team that I think more of a long shot, but I've sprinkled in the Cowboys.
Okay.
Super weak division. Super weak division. And then you're just betting on Dak to be healthy.
Yeah. That's a good division to target. In my 16-teamer, I took my last flex was Washington. I think they're kind of sweet. Like they could, and this was actually before the Eagles traded Wentz. I actually think the Eagles are a little more interesting now too. But if Dak isn't healthy, Washington's got this good young D.
Yeah.
I want Ryan Fitzpatrick to land there. Like that
would be really fun.
Top free agent wish.
That'd be so
fun. They have skill position talent. They have a good young D. He's the kind of guy that could come lead that type of team as a veteran and be fun. And then whatever, Heineke can back him up. He plays like him. I mean,
Did any
McLaurin with Fitzpatrick?
Did any of you guys get back in the fantasy football Twitter streets today with Kyle Rudolph's departure. I thought about getting off an Irv Smith tweet, but I was like, I'm too far across the Rubicon to head back into these waters.
I saw that happened, but I didn't hop on football Twitter.
What is fantasy football?
What is going on in fantasy football? Can you hang on, actually, I feel like I missed, was the whole unpaid internship thing, was that in fantasy football Twitter, or was that all of Twitter?
All of Twitter.
I was all of Twitter, but
okay.
Silva was tweeting about it. There's definitely fantasy football.
Well, it started in football media Twitter.
Oh, it did.
I'm pretty sure it started with Jane Slater, right? She was the one that was getting.
I thought it was politics Twitter, but
it's like zero RB. That conversation comes up like 2 or 3 times a year, and everyone gets all hot and bothered by it. Everyone says the same things and posts the same links, and then we forget about it and do it again in 4 months.
Twitter is,
except there's not a massive edge with this one.
Oh boy! Don't poke the bear, buddy. What, Ben? You got a take on this?
Yeah, I mean, you just said it, but Twitter is the same thing every single time. Everyone is just like, I mean, everyone has their own perspectives, worldviews, biases by which we view the world, right? And all Twitter is everybody posting their thoughts through this lens, and it's just immediately obvious constantly whether somebody has, like, you know, empathy, the ability to see other people's perspectives and just give some credit, like, okay, you have different experiences than me. You have a different paradigm. You look at things differently. Or they have more like narcissistic tendencies and they can't see other people's perspectives and they get really fucking mad on Twitter and they're like, how can you say this? And they just come from a different world. Like we all,
yeah.
Twitter sucks.
Yeah. Twitter, it does suck.
And it's always people arguing that are more on the narcissistic side of that scale they want other people to have the same paradigm that they have because they can't understand that other people just see things differently than them.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where context is so important. Your own goals are so important to that. And for every point someone made, you could come up with a very good use case that rebuts that of like, well, why I was okay not, getting paid, or why I would never be okay not getting paid. It's like, of course it's contextual, but that's not what Twitter does. There's no context on Twitter.
Well, Ben, like you kind of do kind of the live tweet stuff, which I enjoy your tweets on that a lot. But that I think it's like you're kind of asking people to engage with you on an opinion level. Whereas like Pete, when you're firing off like funny tweets and kind of you kind of staying above the fray in a way that I think is.
I'm terrible at Twitter.
I'm the worst at Twitter here, but I think that looking at the way Pete does it, I'm like, I like the way Pete does it because he stays above the fray. He's kind of stays like adjacent to the whole conversation. He's adding to it, but he's not like getting sucked into it. But you're like kind of flirting more, Ben, with getting sucked into it. You usually manage to avoid it, but I'm like, if I was tweeting like Ben, I would be like down in the weeds. Like
the reason I do that is, honest to God, I'm like, what value do I have on this app? Like most of what I think about and do is very contextual, right? Like, and when I write, I'm always like, well, there's this and that. There's a range. We need to talk about probabilistically. Like I have a really hard time getting concise into tweet form. I don't have these skills that Pete has where he's very good at that. Too. Yeah. So when I do the live tweeting, I actually think that's something where I can provide some value. I think I'm pretty good at synthesizing like immediate, information during football games and during the season. And so I like to do that because I'm like, hey, this is something that if you're following me, at least I'm providing some value. I think I'm better at that than most people. So that's what I'm going to do on Twitter. Otherwise, I'm usually regretting before I even post it, whatever tweet I'm sending. I'm just like,
my thing with that, my whole thing about
That's
staying
about every tweet.
Like I refuse to argue on Twitter, and occasionally, like once or twice a year, I'll catch myself like replying to something. I know there was one it was like a couple months ago, and I was like, this is an absurd take. Like I was just so offended by like the conclusion they were making that I just had to say that. But for the most part, I'm just like, people are so, and I'm not the first person to say this, but people like in person or even in audio format are just so different than what they're willing to say behind a keyboard. And I do my shows with Brian and Lowell's, and he has sometimes way different opinions than me on stuff, but we can like have a conversation. Whereas if we were having that on Twitter and we didn't know each other, we'd just be yelling at each other, be completely opposite ends. And it is really like the keyboard warrior thing is like, get on a video show with me or a call with me and talk to me like you're talking to me on Twitter right now. You wouldn't do it. So it's like, why would we allow ourselves to like turn into Neanderthals on Twitter just because there's no barrier between us?
That's exactly what I was trying to get at with the paradigm thing. It's the character limit that creates that. If you get on a call, you can contextualize a little bit. You can be like, I understand these other elements that come into play. On Twitter, it's just the crystallized, the very simple take. And that's what happens.
Yeah. And some people, you hear the phrase like arguing in good faith. Like some people truly are like baffled. I don't get what you're saying. Let me try to understand this. And some people are just like, there's a troll element to it. Some people are argumentative basically as a personality trait, and it's just like, it's hard to know where someone's coming from. And it's like, wait, do you actually care about this? Or is this just like fun for you to be arguing about this right now?
Right, because there's a certain way to be like extremely obnoxious and technically good at Twitter.
Yeah.
Right, and it's just like those. So there's an incentive to be an asshole. Like that's what the platform incentivizes you to do, or it's one of the things. It's one of the paths that you're being incentivized to take.
Yep. Yeah. Sam says he's been wondering if he had more followers if he didn't tweet half the dumb stuff he tweets.
By the way, if you had tweeted this, it might have gone viral and it would be your pinned tweet.
Yeah, that's probably right.
What's funny though,
do that as an experiment, Sam.
This is Sam, I would say is not true. I would say what Pat just said is true is like most of the time no one cares what you're tweeting about, right? It just floats through the timeline. If you tweet something dumb, people just scroll past it. I follow over 1,000 people. I don't even like internalize half the tweets now. I have such dumb Twitter brain. I just scroll past stuff. I don't even know who's saying what unless it's like getting conversation. But to Pat's point, certain things can take off, right? So you're also incentivized to tweet a ton. Is my point. You're incentivized to send tons of dumb tweets, and maybe you'll hit on 1 out of 20. But if you're sending 20 tweets a day, like some people do, I don't even tweet for days at a time right now, which is good for my mental health, frankly. But there are people who do not go days without tweeting at least a half a dozen times, and they're going to catch on some tweets at some point because of that.
I want to say something to Sam's thing here. There's definitely, it's completely natural, and I'm weird about certain stuff that I do too, but all of us are way more precious about our own like Twitter feeds than anyone is even thinking about or caring about. Like we all think like, oh my God, what if I tweet that? It's like, no one fucking cares. Like literally no one cares. Yeah. And what you'll learn from Twitter is when we kind of self-identify and say I'm tweeting dumb shit, you're saying like, I'm holding up a prism and reflecting like my personality, my interests, like the weird things I think. That's why people follow you. They want to have your unique perspective. If you were tweeting out normal shit, well, then you're just tweeting out everything everyone else does. And it's an echo chamber. It's your unique takes, your unique spin on stuff that makes people want to follow you. And some people are better at like the shit posting that Gretch was talking about. Like my OCD doesn't allow me to do like 20 tweets in a day. I think I'm probably normally in like the 3 to 4 range is about what I'm at. But like someone like Denny is like so good at like stream of thought shit posting. A lot of people think they're good at it and they're not. But I guess what I'm saying to Sam is like, don't be in your head about it. Like it's your Twitter feed. It's your curation. Like I used to worry, like, what if I talk about Top Shot and the NFL people don't like it? It's like, fuck it. I'm going to talk about whatever is fun and interesting for me at the moment. And people can come along for that ride or they can mute me or unfollow me. But like, if you're not being authentic and just having fun with it, you're never going to build up a following because you're just going to be another random avatar on Twitter.
One more thing I want to piggyback on this while we're here. This is something I've noticed, and I've told people. I've had a lot of people talk to me, how do you get big on Twitter? And I'm like, I don't know. Most people follow me. I think it's a testament to my ability as an analyst and a writer that people follow me on Twitter, because like other analysts have been like, hey, follow this guy. And then they follow me, and they stay around. I don't know.
You're selling yourself short though, because there are people who just post links of their stuff and it's just like a promotion.
This is like when you tell people to unsubscribe from your stuff.
What I've told some people who are like, hey, how do you get big on Twitter? And some of them, and people do reach out to me, and I've had these conversations, and some of them have had this perspective where they seem to lock into certain followers. And one of the things that I've said, and I think is really important, don't tweet like you're tweeting at one person. Like people are like, this one guy follows me, or this one girl, or whoever, this one important person follows me. And when they're tweeting, they're thinking about it. Like maybe it's their freaking mom or their dad, their parents follow them, and they're worried about how their parents might interact with their tweet or see their tweet or whatever. But like, if you're way too worried about how one of your followers is going to react to one of your tweets, then you shouldn't like tweet at all. That's not like, you need to tweet how you want to tweet. It's got to be about you. And you have to recognize that you have a lot of followers, not just the ones that interact with you, not just the ones that like or comment, which are the ones that might get in your head and might be the ones you're thinking about. But like, there's a lot of people that don't ever click, don't ever read them, don't ever interact with them. I've had people in real life come, hey, I saw that tweet. I'm like, well, I know that person didn't like it or comment or anything, but they're reading every tweet I send and they like them. They're friends of mine or coworkers or whatever. But yeah, so don't ever like focus on this one follower or one subset of followers.
Right, the feedback that the site gives you can kind of throw you off. Yeah.
And I'll give you a very polarized or a very good example of that. And I promise I'm not just trying to, to flex or whatever on it, but it's like something like that. I would be like, if I'm tweeting about the counselor, like all the time, like who are the people going to be turned off? Well, Matthew Berry a long time ago DM'd me how much he loved and thought it was funny, me posting those things. And he would have been the one person to be like, oh my God, Matthew Berry follows me. Like I can't, tweet out this stuff or I'm going to like offend him and he's going to unfollow me or whatever. And it's like, no, he legitimately liked and thought it was funny what I was doing. So it's like, to Ben's point, don't get in your head about that. Like follow your instincts, what you think is fun and interesting and everything else.
That person, either like to Pete's point, might have a completely different opinion than what you actually think. They might think what you're doing is cool when you think it's lame. They might have you muted. they might not care what you're tweeting about. Like, you don't know. Just do what what you want to do.
Yeah. I think that's
have fun with it. I think that's the big thing. Is like if you're just kind of forcing tweets or trying to do something that you think people are looking for, it's gonna be no fun.
It's like anything. People can sniff out inauthenticity. Like you can read tweets and you can know I'd be like, okay, this person's kind of tipsy right now. Oh, this person's in an argumentative mood right now. This person's promoting something. This person has this agenda. Like we're all good as humans at kind of identifying the motivation and angle behind a tweet. Just like if I try a tweet that's an overwritten joke, it's like, all right, Peter, you're trying a little too hard with this one. Like I've been there, but people can tell that, right? And I think that's a good thing to keep in mind.
Yeah. One of the things that blew my mind at the time, and like it seems even crazier now looking back, is at one time you were a completionist with your Twitter feed, where you were like reading every tweet from everyone you followed, right?
Yeah.
How long were you doing that, and like when did that stop? Because it seemed that would be impossible, it seems like now.
Yeah, so that was honestly even back in the days before I started doing content, and then in those first couple years, and I was just a completist. I remember spending some of my lunch breaks, like I would go and I had this app, I don't even remember what it was called. It was a Twitter app, but it held your position within Twitter when you were done. So it was like now, like you log onto your Twitter or TweetDeck, it's just like whatever's there. Yeah. But in these apps, it would hold it. And so every time I'd open it up, it would be right there. And so then I'd just start scrolling from that spot. And I just had this like weird completist mindset to it. And eventually I just out of necessity had to get rid of that. And now I basically use Twitter just like whatever's in my mentions. And then if like live events are happening, like when we're watching the NFL playoffs, I throw up TweetDeck and like get Ben's stream of thoughts on that. Like I love Twitter for live events, but yeah, it's just, I feel like what's replaced it for me now is Discord. Like Discord is where I'm spending a lot of my time as some of these guys here know, shooting the shit. I just love, getting to go talk with everyone in there. And now that's where I'm like, okay, I want to pop around. What's people saying in this channel? What's going on over here? But I think I've always had a bit of a completist, I don't know, personality, but it's just not tenable with how many information and social media sources there are now.
Yeah, for sure. And the platform almost doesn't want you to be with the algorithm and stuff. You know, it used to be much more. You could kind of just follow your select accounts and see everything from them.
I don't know anything about the algorithm. Here's a question I have. Does it like not show you tweets of people that you've interacted with? Because like I randomly had thought about people that I was like, I follow them and I have not seen one of their tweets in years now. Or like months.
I think it must, because it's a curated feed. You're not seeing everything that everyone's posting.
That's pretty annoying.
Yeah, and I think
I definitely switched it to where you get the latest tweets, but I feel like it switches back automatically. Is that true?
I mean, I know you can toggle it. I basically always have it on. I kind of appreciate their algorithm because it's the stuff I missed. If it's been like 8 hours and I log in and I kind of want to see what were people talking about. I also have this app called Nuzzle, and it integrates and it shows with your Twitter feed, and it shows the tweets and the articles that are shared the most by all of your followers. The downside is it's like if you're following like guys from the Action Network and then it's just like they all share the same article, but it will help me catch like if you miss for a few days and you're like, what was everyone talking about on Twitter that day, or which link article, a new ESPN profile goes up, it gets shared by a bunch of people. That's how I get that, because I do still have that. I have that RSS feed in me, the completest thing where I'm like, I don't want to miss a really good thing that gets passed around.
Sorry, I was just ordering a beer.
Yeah, this is a good thing. We need to. I did get Ben Gretsch in the Deposit Kingdom Discord.
So I don't know what's going on in there. There's a lot of channels. I have not done anything in there. There is a lot of action. I'm getting a lot of notifications.
We almost need like a Discord walkthrough, because it took me like 2 weeks to corral the Discord channels in the Deposit Kingdom. I was getting notifications and everything.
I gave up in like 15 minutes. Like Pete got me in maybe like 5 days ago. I gave up in like maybe I spent 10 minutes, 15 minutes on it. I don't know what's happening. I'm going to quit.
Ben has what I consider to be like there's some good emojis in there, but your emoji, you now have your own custom emoji in there, as does Pat. And if you're watching this and you're not in it, it's
Ben's the best emoji in the whole Discord.
I'm gonna post the link in the chat right now, and I'll post it in the show notes. I actually am careful with this now on the Club Top Shot, because I'll have like a bunch of random Top Shot people come in and kill the vibe. But I do think I want to get a ship chasing channel going here, and we'll get that going as well. And we'll get you, Ben. You don't have to go into all the.
This is for your channel, right, Pete?
Yeah, I mean, I had the Discord back. My guy Siler made it for me, but it's like, I don't know. It doesn't have to be like associated with a channel. It's just kind of an umbrella place.
I don't even know Discord really well. I'm pretty green. I use Discord.
It seems like a better version of Slack to me.
Yeah.
I'm very green. I have not gotten on for a lot of.
But here's the thing, Ben. Like, if you want, like in the Deposit Kingdom, I'll make an Omnifantasy channel. Like, we can have that, and people can come and talk.
Ben's in.
Ben's like, okay, yeah. See, that's what's fun about it.
Omni. I got Omni in my my college buddies Slack. We have an Omnifantasy channel. It's it hops when big upsets happen and stuff. It's fun.
Yeah. No, and that's what like we had. First they had the Top Shot channel, and then people started talking about Street Fighter NFTs. And I was like, all right, let me create another NFT channel for you guys so we can let the Top Shot bros have their safe space. So it self-segments around different kind of communities.
Categories of channels even, which you don't have on Slack. But you have the lobby, you have Top Shot, you have fantasy, you have betting. It's organized, but like I'm looking at it right now. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21 channels with unread messages right now. What am I supposed to do?
Well, you can do like a notification setting on the entire like Discord to be like only mentions.
Yeah.
and then it'll just go. All the stuff will go away.
Yeah, wait, Ben, is your thing that you're getting notified every time there's a new message in like the Hockey Bros channel?
I did change that. I made sure to change that really quick.
Are you changing it individually on each channel, or did you go to the global?
No, I changed it in full. I'm just saying I opened it right now, and they're bolded when there's new ones. There's a couple.
I'm pretty sure you weren't mentioned in 18 channels, Ben.
Yeah, no.
I mean, you're popular, man.
There's new stats in 21 channels, and I literally haven't read through all the channels. I see a Hockey Bros channel now. Yeah, I won't click on that.
Who's tagging Ben in the Hockey Bros channel?
Yeah, every someone go tag Gretchen in the Hockey Bros channel.
I actually am pretty tempted to tag Gretchen every channel at this point.
No, but that's the thing. We'll get a ship chasing channel going. We'll get an Omnifantasy channel going, and then you can be the king of the Omnifantasy channel, Ben.
I just got a dangy wing notification.
You definitely have notifications on for the wrong things, man. There's no way.
No. I got tagged there by somebody. One of the listeners. Oh, dangy wing is the listener. Got it. I thought that was a channel. It's Club NFTs. He told me to come.
Look at that. Sam Hoppin just hopped in the Discord. I am going to create a Twitter workshop channel, Sam. We're going to get you tweeting out the weirdest, most perverted shit that'll grow your following so fast it'll make your head spin.
You guys started the notifications.
That made me
Blair just tagged me in the tilt
yes,
channel.
All right. The Discord comes through immediately.
Let me see this. Tilting over. Oh, it's so good. Dave Kitchen, don't talk about being a completist in Discord. I mean, you're in like 19 different, yogi artist. Who is the guy from the Swolecast today? I mean, Kitchen's in every art Discord channel there is.
I struggle with the completist stuff too, for sure. So I actually liked that piece of advice.
Yeah, it is good. It's the same as Twitter, right? Where you feel like a completist, but then you realize it's fine. I can come and go. And I've had to realize that basically in the past 2 weeks, basically since Top Shot, when I need to get stuff done, I just have to close everything down. I just have to get off of everything.
Yeah, that's what's so hard. That's why Top Shot has been such a time suck, because I think partly because there aren't tools yet. Own the Moment's working on this fund basically that allows you to sort of track the market. But they don't have, you can't go to a website and just kind of track the fund. You're kind of looking for their tweets on it. And if you're curious where the market is, you're checking your own portfolio, you're checking a bunch of moments, you're seeing things like, oh, that's kind of a nice deal. So you get sucked in so quick. Even if you just want to check what's going on, all of a sudden you're shopping. And I'm the same way. I need to tune everything out, put on some music, have nothing distracting me. I often am able to get a lot of stuff done right after kind of people generally stop sending me emails for my day job. There's that period usually before Brittany's home where I'm just this is the perfect time. But Top Shot has eaten into that time a lot. So
Pat,
I love hearing this from you guys who don't have kids. My time off devices is when I'm spending time with my kids or I'm on devices. That's literally my whole life. You guys are I gotta schedule out of time when I'm not on devices. I'm fighting. You know what I mean? I either have to go engage with my kids and be present, which is, I say have to. It's the greatest joy in the world.
You should talk. You should talk to Kitchen about how you can children to become an NFT thought leader. I think he's got it down perfect.
His kids are NFT thought leaders?
No. No, he is. He's even sending them away for a week here for spring break, so he can get some more Discord time with Trippy Yogi. Let's see here. What do we got? Oh yeah, Belair famously, I went and shot hoops today for an hour, was the happiest I felt in a while. I think Jack Settleman, my co-host on Club Top Shot, he's doing this $100,000 knockout competition on Friday.
Oh, Pete got Pat's internet.
Pete froze.
He's been choppy for the last few minutes. I was gonna make a joke about it.
What are you talking about?
You know,
your internet froze.
No, it didn't.
You were mid-sentence.
And for us,
mid-sentence, and you just got out.
I need to go to the chat. Did my internet freeze?
Oh, for sure. You gotta get
your
phone out. I want to get your phone out. We gotta get more.
I refuse. I have the best internet in all of Boston.
You got a little choppy there for a few minutes.
Pete, you need to accept the results of this election here.
I won't. We're gonna stop the steal.
Yes. It so did. Oh, Kitchen. This is glorious for Kitchen. No. This is glorious.
Thank you, Phil. That's what I like to hear. This is fake news.
You're golden. This
froze for like 5 seconds. Belair says, "Oh my!"
I'll block anyone who questions the speed of my internet.
Phil just thinks he can get your viewers next week while you're gone. That's Phil's motivation.
Phil is actually doing the Lord's work for me right now. And I bought a bunch of Street Fighter NFTs that apparently you had to craft. I immediately hated it. And I said, Phil, will you make this problem go away? And he already turned it into one Fred VanVleet Series 1 moment for me. So cross-chain deals, washing my hands of that godforsaken NFT. So shout out, Phil.
Nice. That's pretty nice.
Yeah. Phil, let the people know.
What were you making when you froze? I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know. You were making a point.
It was good, and then you froze.
I think it was about Eric playing basketball, and then you were talking about Jack's knockout competition.
Oh, I was saying I think we got inspired to go outside and do something athletic for once. Because Jack posted his clip of his jump shot, and Jack had this incredible line on Top Shot. He said with a straight face, he was like, "I'm an incredible basketball player, but a horrible shooter."
That's pretty integral to being an incredible basketball player, Jack. Yeah. The thing, I mean, you said you were like a little bit nervous about how to play it, you know, with the whole highlight video for Chris Conley. Meanwhile, Jack's just like, all right, let's throw up my video of me getting wet. He kept calling it getting wet, where he's hitting all these basketball shots. Like that could have been legitimately uncomfortable. Luckily, it wasn't because Chris Conley's the man. But that was so funny. He's just playing a video of himself making basketball shots for an NFL player.
I still don't know the context of the thing he did against Jamal Murray, because I was like, we never saw Jamal Murray in that clip. I still haven't really figured out what was going on there.
I assume Jamal Murray also videotaped himself doing that, but that seems far-fetched.
And then Peter, who I mean normally has pretty sharp takes, saying Jamal Murray is a better free throw shooter than Steph Curry. I mean, we were off the rails.
That was, you had him on. When you came in with a lot of confidence, I was like, Pete Jennings has made a bad point.
You're like coming over the top about
it. Yeah. You were like, oh yeah. You saw the redemption for asking Damian Lee how the bubble was.
Oh my God. I mean, Chris Conley's face too when he was watching Jack's jump shot was just so good.
That was great.
Oh my God. Yeah, videotaping Jamal Murray. I'm enough of an NBA thought leader to get that reference. Are you guys?
No.
There was a video that leaked of him getting a blowjob.
Okay, I figured it was the sex tape. I was like, there's only one reference to that.
Candidates there.
Yeah. Great video.
Got it bookmarked.
Put it on the blockchain, baby. All right. So I think we are going to wind things down here. Gretchen and I are gone next week. Pat and Leone, you said you're going to do a draft?
We're going to do a draft. We're going to do an underdog draft is the current plan. We've been talking for a couple weeks about, getting more into best ball content. So it'll be good just to kind of do it live here on the stream.
Yeah, just pull that Band-Aid off. We gotta talk fantasy football at some point, I think, fellas.
I dove into dynasty rankings today. I really
Did you really?
Yeah, I'm a couple weeks behind. I need to update these things. So I was doing, decent amount of moving around. It's fun to do dynasty rankings. I actually think this is easy for me to say since I just went hardcore into Top Shot and forgot football was a sport. But I do think there's a little bit of an advantage to moving away from your dynasty rankings and just kind of truly taking a step back and then coming back with fresh eyes. Because sometimes when you're doing rankings, it to be like, damn, I can't move this guy up like 20 spots. Like that seems kind of random. But,
hang on. Gretch, is Pat's feed flickering
yeah.
for you?
But you can hear me. You can hear me, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I think it's actually my camera, not my internet.
Yeah.
All right. Just
it's
not.
He's trying to make it even more fisheye, and it's not responding well.
Hey, God, I just want to make sure I get what you're saying. You are making the case that your adventure into Top Shot has actually been beneficial for your dynasty rankings. That's the take you're going with?
Well, not beneficial for the timing of their release. That is for sure not the case. But I actually think that taking, this could have been accomplished in a third of the time, but I do think that it's sort of helpful to like come back with fresh eyes. And like when I came back, I'm like, who cares what my pre-draft opinion on T. Higgins was compared to like Jerry Jeudy? I like him way more than Jerry Jeudy now, like way more. And I have him I have him and CeeDee Lamb right next to each other right now. And I think it's easier to like look ahead to the next season and make the changes that you're going to end up needing to make. Otherwise, what's going to happen is you're going to slowly, incrementally make those changes in your mind. But I think it's helpful to, at some point take a break. Then you can come back and you can really approach it with the following season, the upcoming season, driving your analysis, not hindsight.
Yeah.
I agree with that a ton.
All right. Gretch, I think what Pat's saying is you get really into Top Shot.
Yeah. Now that you're getting a Top Shot, Ben. Come on.
I've been spending a lot of time with Omnifantasy. You got 4 drafts going.
Oh, that's true.
A lot of people that have had some technical issues, and I've been focused on that. So I've not been paying a lot of attention to football either. Which, like, I did a dynasty Q&A with 4 for 4, and one of the questions was like, to name a late round rookie, like round 3 or round 4 rookie. And I named Terrace Marshall because is it Marshall or Mitchell?
Marshall.
Terrace House? Yeah, Marshall. Sorry, I have not even dug into the rookies that much, but we talked a lot about
Ben's got Top Shot brain, I can tell.
Man. Jeez. And then I've seen a bunch of rookie drafts where he's going like 1-2 turn, so he's not a round 3 guy. I saw some actual NFL scouting reports where people didn't have him in their top like 15 receivers for the draft, which I thought meant that like maybe he would be a 3rd round draft pick in dynasty rookie drafts. But a lot of the dynasty community I've seen since, and I was like, whoa, usually I'm on top of these types of things. But when you pick a guy as your 3rd, 4th round sleeper, and then you see a Twitter mock and he goes 10th or something like that, you're like, yeah, I'm a little rusty right now.
I think Elijah Moore might be that guy, that kind of third round wide receiver. It's a super flex mock draft, and I got him at the 312. So I think he'll be kind of in that range, and he's going to be pretty interesting. I think kind of maybe a slot wide receiver, but a little bit undersized and then really productive, came out early. So he's probably going to be that guy. If you're curious about, digging in more on these dudes.
All right, guys. There you have it. Gretch and I taking a little break. The 3 of us will be back here in 2 weeks, but next week, are you guys going to do it at the exact same time, Pat?
Yes, 9:15.
Okay. Yep. So they'll be back here in a week. Leone and Pat, you guys will be in good hands. I don't believe I'll put the link in the show notes here as well if you guys want to hop in the Deposit Kingdom Discord. And I think we're going to have more news for you guys soon too about some other stuff, some other perks, things we want to do under the ship chasing umbrella this offseason. So stay tuned for that. If for some reason you're watching and haven't subscribed, please do so. And always love hanging with you guys on a Wednesday night. For Ben Gretch, for Pat Crane, I will see you guys in 2 weeks. Peace.